Look out your window right now. Watch the people rushing across the crosswalk, checking their phones, or waiting in line for coffee. Every single person you see, regardless of their height, skin tone, or native language, belongs to the exact same biological species, Homo sapiens. To us, this feels completely natural. We take it for granted that humanity is a party of one. But in evolutionary biology, this situation is deeply weird. A mammal genus rarely consists of just one solitary species. Think of cats. Lions, tigers, leopards, jaguars, and house cats all share the planet. We have polar bears, grizzlies, and pandas. For millions of years, the human family was no different. If you rewound the clock by just 100,000 years, a mere blink in evolutionary time, Earth was not a solitary home for Homo sapiens, but a crowded realm of multiple distinct human species living side by side. 100,000 years ago, Earth looked much like a fantasy universe straight out of Middle-earth. At least 6 different human species walked the planet simultaneously, all standing upright, controlling fire, and crafting stone tools. In the icy forests of Europe, stocky Neanderthals hunted cave bears through sub-zero blizzards. Across the freezing plateaus of Siberia, mysterious Denisovans adapted to high-altitude survival. Deep inside pitch-black cave networks in South Africa, slender Homo naledi navigated narrow shafts. On the Indonesian island of Flores, an extraordinary dwarf species known as Homo floresiensis, nicknamed Hobbits, grew to just 3 feet tall, foraging alongside miniature elephants and giant Komodo dragons. Meanwhile, long-enduring Homo erectus roamed Java, and in East Africa, our ancestors were just one fragile group among many. If a Paleolithic traveler had crossed Eurasia back then, they would have encountered a different human species every few hundred miles. Each had spent hundreds of thousands of years adapting to its specific environment. They weren't primitive ape men, they were distinct branches of humanity. Yet fast forward to today, and every single one of those other human species has vanished from Earth. Gone. Only we remain. How did this happen? How did a hairless ape from Africa become the sole survivor of the human tree? Did our ancestors launch a brutal prehistoric world war and exterminate our cousins? Did we out-eat them, or simply get lucky? To uncover the truth, we must unravel one of science's greatest detective stories, a journey that reveals our secret superpower, shatters ancient myths, and exposes why being the last human species left is both a miracle and a warning. To solve the mystery of our missing cousins, we first have to bust a massive evolutionary myth: the idea that Homo sapiens survived simply because we were the smartest, strongest, or most physically superior humans. That narrative falls apart the second you examine our closest relatives, the Neanderthals. Neanderthals were not clumsy cavemen. They lived in Europe for over 300,000 years, enduring brutal ice ages long before Homo sapiens left Africa. Physically, Neanderthals were powerhouse survivors. Their bones were significantly thicker than ours, their muscle density was far higher, and their stocky frames conserved heat in sub-zero blizzards. Furthermore, Neanderthals had larger average brain volumes than modern humans, 1,500 cubic centimeters compared to our 1,350. They controlled fire, crafted flint blades, wore tailored furs, used plant medicine, and buried their dead with flowers. In a one-on-one wrestling match on an ice-age tundra, a Neanderthal would crush a Sapiens every single time. So why did the stronger, bigger-brained Neanderthals go extinct while fragile Sapiens inherited the Earth? The answer lies not in physical power, but in a mental upgrade that occurred around 70,000 years ago, what evolutionary biologists like Yuval Noah Harari call the cognitive revolution. Every social animal can communicate. Vervet monkeys have distinct alarm calls for eagles and leopards. Chimpanzees can inform their troop about a fruit tree or warn of a rival group. But animal communication is strictly anchored to physical reality. A chimpanzee can signal, "Look out, there's a lion by the river." It cannot say, "The lion is the guardian spirit of our tribe, and if we honor him, he will bless our hunt tomorrow." Homo sapiens unlocked a unique evolutionary key: the ability to speak about things that do not physically exist. We invented fiction, myth, religion, and shared belief. Telling imaginary stories might sound like a campfire pastime, but in biology, fiction is a world-conquering superweapon. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar demonstrated that without shared myths, the maximum size of a primate social group held together by personal relationships, like grooming, is roughly 150 individuals. Beyond this limit, known as Dunbar's number, trust breaks down and the group naturally splits. Neanderthals lived in small, isolated family bands of 10 to 15 individuals. They rarely interacted with neighbors, and when they did, encounters were marked by suspicion. If a Neanderthal group suffered an illness or ran out of game, there was no regional network to call for help. Each band was an isolated island. Homo sapiens, however, used shared myths, body art, and symbols to bridge the gap between strangers. Two sapiens who had never met could spot a carved seashell pendant or ochre paint and instantly recognize that they shared the same cosmic story. They didn't need to know each other personally. They were bound by a shared fiction. This breakthrough allowed sapiens to build continent-spanning social networks. While a Neanderthal tribe was restricted to flint within 20 miles of their cave, sapiens traded obsidian, bone needles, and hunting techniques across thousands of miles. When conflict erupted, 30 Neanderthals weren't fighting 30 sapiens. They faced a coordinated coalition of 500 sapiens hunters united by a common story. Sheer social organization easily overwhelmed physical strength. Alongside our social cheat code, sapiens developed a deadly combination: projectile weapons and a four-legged ally. Neanderthal hunting relied on thrusting spears. To kill a woolly mammoth or cave bear, Neanderthals had to run up to a multi-ton beast and stab it at point-blank range. Skeletons reveal healed bone fractures almost identical to injuries in modern rodeo riders. Nearly every adult Neanderthal suffered severe trauma in their lifetime. Sapiens invented spear throwers, atlatls, and bows, striking prey from 50 yards away. And around 40,000 years ago, we formed an alliance with wild proto-wolves. By domesticating wolves, sapiens created an unbeatable hunting pack. Dogs tracked game across deep snow and cornered prey, while sapiens safely dispatched targets with projectiles. Neanderthals, hunting alone with short spears, could not match this caloric efficiency and safety. While sapiens expanded, extreme climate change devastated our cousins. Eurasia plunged into climate instability, turning forests into tundras. Neanderthals, ambush hunters dependent on woodland cover, saw their habitats collapse. Small, isolated populations led to inbreeding, weakening their reproductive health. Computer modeling shows that even a tiny competitive disadvantage, like sapiens having a 2% higher infant survival rate, was enough to drive Neanderthals to extinction within 2,000 years. As sapiens occupied prime hunting grounds, Neanderthals were pushed into marginal mountain pockets. The last Neanderthals retreated to sea caves in Gibraltar, where their final fires flickered out 39,000 years ago. Denisovans faded from Asia as sapiens spread. On Flores, Homo floresiensis vanished 50,000 years ago as sapiens arrived. One by one, every other branch on the human tree withered away. Or did they? In 2010, Swedish geneticist Svante Pääbo extracted ancient DNA from Neanderthal bones and sequenced their genome, a feat that earned him the 2022 Nobel Prize. The results shocked the scientific world. Non-African people living today carry 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA, while indigenous populations in Melanesia carry up to 4 to 6% Denisovan DNA. When our ancestors migrated out of Africa, they met, lived alongside, and raised children with Neanderthals and Denisovans. These genetic inheritances still shape us today. Neanderthal genes helped early sapiens fight European viruses, while Denisovan DNA gives Tibetans the EPAS1 gene, allowing them to thrive at extreme high altitudes. Neanderthals and Denisovans did not vanish into total darkness. A living piece of their DNA endures inside billions of people today. Now we stand as the last human species on Earth. For hundreds of thousands of years, being human was a diverse, multi-species experience. Today, we are alone in the quiet echo of that vanished world. Being the sole surviving human species is both a mystery and a responsibility. We survived because our ancestors possessed the unique ability to imagine, share stories, build trust with strangers, and cooperate at an unprecedented scale. As we face modern global challenges, the story of our lost cousins offers a timeless lesson. Our greatest strength has never been muscle or claws, but our capacity to unite around a shared vision. In a world where we are the only humans left, our survival depends on whether we remember how to tell stories that bring us together.